Well, good morning, Christina and Sean. Yes, that it's a quite a difference, and I think these terms need to be clarified before anybody discuss them, because critical minerals are a much wider group. They also contain some of the very known and very accessible metals, such as copper, for example. But of course, the demand in the recent years has increased because everybody in the world wants to go to electrical cars. They want to have mobile phones, which, by the way, have about 70 different metals, including rare earth elements. And then, of course, one of the major consumer of rare earth, which is, like I said, a smaller group of critical minerals, is the defense industry. And in US, you have the Department of Energy Critical Minerals and Materials Act, which defines those critical materials and minerals. And it's much wider, like I said. Only 18 of them are rare earth elements. The rest are, like already mentioned, metals that we find in our common life. And also, rare earth elements are basically not as rare as the name would imply. They just rarely appear by themselves in a mineral structure. So they are most likely to be sort of trace elements in other mineralizations, including coal, for example.
Sure. That's great. Professor, if you can, given your background, your knowledge, do you believe Ukraine, this Eastern European nation, has access to these deposits or these raw materials or these rare earth minerals in that region?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned access. So first of all, there need to be also another clarification. One is called the mineral resources, which are all, let's say, known or assumed or occurrences in a specific area, but those are not mineral reserves. So mineral resource is something that you find, but you don't know how much exactly you have it. And mineral reserve is once you already defined its extension, its grade of mineralization, then you can have some sort of economic estimation what would be the value of that mineralization. And the problem with Ukraine, most probably, I would assume, is they haven't, since the Soviet times, they haven't done this evaluation very concretely. Russia or Soviet Union used a quite different approach as the Western countries. And there's a huge question whether some of these reserves are actually exploitable. And that needs to be done before anybody can talk about investments, because that depends or that influences the size of the investments made in Ukraine. In addition to that, Russia currently holds the territory of roughly 2/3 of Ukrainian coal and about half of the known, again, mineral resources of rare earth elements, titanium, zirconium, etc. So it's a bit tricky to talk about concrete actions at the moment. Of course, I might be wrong. Ukrainians might secretly do their own assessment already, but that's not publicly available, so nobody knows for sure.
And the other question is if they had these minerals, wouldn't they have already been mining them? And then it leads into, well, maybe they didn't have the funding. So right now we're looking at some mineral researchers who are saying that if they do build a mine, it could take quite some time. It could be a pretty large investment. We, as Americans, would probably not be reaping the benefits of this deal until after the Trump presidency. So can you go through that timeline from exploration to opening a mine?
Well, most definitely. The first part of your question was, wouldn't they be already exploited? Well, it depends. Technology does improve through years and through the recent history. So there might be available novel technologies that help us much easily extract those rarer minerals.
Bye.